Hello YouTube, I have here SounDigital amplifiers. They are 4-channel amplifiers, a SD404 4-ohm version and SD804 a 4-ohm version also. Let's find out some of details in here, and actually if you do not follow already a Big D Wiz from Old School Audio, go and check his channel out. He actually have been testing the SounDigital 404D. Actually, I'm not sure if was it 4-ohm or 2-ohm version, but he tested how much it outputs, and it actually came close but not enough for the outputs on the datasheet in here. So first of all, this 404 amplifier is a small with a really small footprint. It's around a little bit over 4 inches to 4 inches, maybe somewhere here I have some measurements. It is around 28 millimeters, 5 inches and 5¼ inches. So it is really small. One thing to keep notice here, as you can see on this side, we have these 12 volt ground remote controller. Then we have a channel 1 positive, channel 1 negative and channel 2 positive, and then a channel 2 negative. So this has only 6 outputs on this side, with a 1 channel that is actually between the channels, plus and minus. I tested this out with a oscilloscope and checked out if it had any problems with noise coming on the different channels. Like if you put a left and right channel in here and then you play music that is directly on the 1 channel, like voice saying left channel and right channel and center channel, will it go on the other channel? It just performed quite well. So I'm not really sure the technology behind here, and I would really like to show you the internals of the amplifiers, but goddamn, I don't have these screw terminals, these torque screws here, so we just need to check them outside here. But go and Google it if you want to see what kind of stuff is inside in here. You probably will find, and if you don't find, put me a message so I can try to get these ones open. So on the other side we have a 2 left and right channels, 1 and 2, and then the channel 3 and 4. We have gain knobs on each channel individually, and then we have crossovers from a low pass, full and high pass. The low pass and high pass are actually 80 Hz. The standard just 80 Hz low pass and high pass. So if you're using, let's say, a tweeters from this, you need a passive crossover, or you need to have a DSP so you don't feed any low frequencies to the tweeter, because it's the high pass filter is only at the 80 Hz, so it gives too low frequency for the tweeter. And then if you put it on low pass, then you can play like subwoofer within here, but it will go up to 80 Hz, so it will still sound quite rubbish, because you don't want to have these over 60 Hz sounds from your subwoofer. But for mids, this will be just fine, and subwoofer you still need a DSP or something to cut out the frequencies in the signal side before it goes into amplifier. Now on the datasheet, this will output a amount of at 4 ohms 14.4 volts. It will output 261 watts in bridged mode, so that's channel 1 and 2, negative to negative, no, positive to negative, from channel 1 positive to channel 2 negative. 261 watts in 4 ohms, and 4 times 72 watts in 40.4 volts. So that's quite a lot, and also capable of doing 2 ohm. Actually, this is a 4 ohm version. You can use a stereo 2 ohm. This. Why is this a 4 ohm version? This is a 4 ohm version. So you can use this as down to 4 times 100 watts in 2 ohms, and at 40.4 volts 131 watts per channel. That's a lot for this size, but as Big D Wiz made a video about it, he actually measured it out, so it output around 85 or 88 watts, 4 times 80 something watts I think it was. So it came a little bit short, but goddamn, 330 watts out from 4 channels here, 80, 80, 80, 80 in this small footprint of a device. Really nice. So I will be suggesting this for a replacement of the head unit amplifier. So you just put your head unit speakers in here, or you can run a through the passive crossovers 1 and 2 channel and 2 channels for subwoofer, as this can output the 261 watts in 4 ohms. So you will have nice little bumping bass with a nice sounding front end from this sized amplifier, 5" to 5.4". Really small, and it actually cost here in Finland, I think it was 169 euros. So it is really cheap, really small, and really capable of doing a lot of stuff. And then to the next one, 1800.4. This is also a 4 ohm version. It should say somewhere here that is a 4 ohm version. In here, behind here, it says 1800.4 or 4 ohm version, 2 ohm stereo, 4 ohm bridged. Now this is a little different than the other. It has in here center, it has plus 12 volts and a ground and remote, and it has both channels, channel 1 and 2 plus and minus, channel 3 and 4 plus and minus here. So this is more like a standard normal 4 channel head unit. And on the other side we still have these 1 and 2 channel inputs, and then we have individual gains for the channel and LPF and high pass filter from the both channels. But also in here we have the 80 Hz low pass and high pass filters. That's a bummer, because I would really like to have some kind of adjustment here, or maybe put it down to 60 Hz LPF, so you can use this as a bass amplifier, and the high PF put it up like in the 50 or 5000, so you can switch it between the tweeters and the mid-range speakers. Now this is a little bit bigger, and it outputs a much more power. This actually does 44 ohm version, does a 4 times 200 watts, that's total of 800 watts in 2 ohms. At 12.6 volts, and at 14.4 volts it outputs 261 watts in 14.4 volts. So probably this should be around the same technology of the small SD404, and if I estimate it correctly, you should have around over 200 watts at least from each channel. Now if you use it in bridge mode, you can actually get around 400 watts for 2 channels and 522 watts for 14.4 volts. So this is a much beefier amplifier. I would not suggest to use this as a tweeter amplifier. I would like to have this used as a mid-range. If you want to have like 2 big beefy mid-range or small subwoofers, you can put this in bridge mode and use them to get a 2 times 400 watts into 4 ohms for your drivers on your doors. A really good device for that. And then use this one with just not a bridged mode, just use channels 1 and 2 for the tweeters, and perhaps channel 3 and 4 for a mid-range speakers, like from 100 to 1000 Hz mid-range speakers and mid sub bass. Not a subwoofer, but sub-bass speakers for this one. Really good package between these two. You can have a 6 channels to the front end, a fully active 3-way front end with a 400 watts to the mid basses, and then a little bit less for the tweeters and the mid-range speakers with this one, and have them like stacked in such a small footprint of amplifiers. Really easy to use, really nice to see. Now, what do you think about these SounDigital amplifiers? I've actually worked with these a lot. They are really good to use. Some of them have some issues if you are planning to go less than suggested impedances, so the ohms should be correct, or higher to get these working properly. So in Finland we sell these a lot, like really a lot, probably the most sold amplifier now. So there are some models that came back with some kind of hissing or sounding noise after a 1 month to a 6 month period of time using, but probably though in those scenarios they are just being connected on the subwoofer enclosure and some parts inside are loose. So keep in mind these are really good amplifiers, and every amplifier I think is good in what they are meant to be doing. So as a sound quality wise, this actually has, this has a bigger version also, 1200.4, and I've been listening these 404 and the 1200 ones, but I have not actually listened this 800 one. But the sound quality wise, it's capable of doing a really nice sound. I would not suggest, if you are planning to compete in EMMA competitions, like in really sound quality wise, I'm not going to suggest you to take these amplifiers and try them out. I would like to suggest you a really good AB class amplifier or even A class amplifiers if you want to compete in sound quality. But if you want to play loud and clear, these are good amplifiers for that. Now that's about it. I really hoped I could open these up, but I don't have the torque screws here. So I had some kind of difficulties here trying to open in Finnish video when I did this, but nothing really worked, so I'm not doing it on this video. Sorry that you cannot see the internals of the amplifier on my video. Bummer. But maybe next time. So leave a comment if you have anything question, or what do you think about these amplifiers. They are just so cheap that they, in my mind, there has to be something wrong, but they have proven me over and over and over again that they are really good amplifiers for playing loud and clear. The sound of these amplifiers are meant to be played like open doors and really loud, like a SounDigital. Everything that SounDigital makes is open, wide, and really loud, and that is what these amplifiers are for. What's out in small form factor. Thank you for watching. Like if you like, dislike it if you dislike, and let's continue the discussion in the comment section. And I see you on the next video. Bye bye.